Make sure they're picking you up. So tell me about this.
This area is known as Pratt City, and as you can see, the damage that was coming up on it, very extensive, and it came from a west to east pattern. It's wiped out everything on its path.
And this is a mile long, wide.
Yeah. Because it's all the way up on the other side of that hill.
But I remember watching the Weather Channel, and the poor fellow was talking to the fellow who was in the studio.
Yeah.
And I remember the guy on the Weather Channel who was inside telling the fellow who was standing, he said, "Hey, Cecil." And the guy said, "Yes, and the winds are blowing, and it's this, and that." He said, "No, did you see that?" He said, "Well, we saw." He said, "There's debris falling." And the guy couldn't see until after the fellow in the studio told him. And he said, words to the effect, "I think you better go inside." Was given or no warning?
There was a warning.
There was a warning.
And I think that's why our numbers are low. Because I think most people took heed to them.
Right.
We only ended up with 2 fatalities.
Were they older people? The two?
One was male, I'm not sure.
Because sometimes the older people, no matter what happens, they just don't want to leave the home. But you guys managed. Did you go knocking on doors?
We went from each house. We went to each house here. And if you notice on the houses, you'll see they're marked with paint.
Yes.
To let you know the date, the time that we went there, and whether we found anyone or not. It'll show it in when you look at the paint. We mark it so we'll know we don't go back to the same house.
Now, how do you protect, other than the National Guard, how do you protect what's here and vulnerable?
Well, we have the police officers here, also the National Guard. They have a presence here 24/7, and so do the fire department.
And we have a curfew.
And people are not allowed back yet.
They can come, if they live in this area, they can come and go through and see if they can find some things, but they're not allowed to come back and live here. There's nothing really to live inside of Mr. Cosby.
I would imagine that there are some who just want to come and sit until it's time to go home, because this is, the things that your home represents. And not only the pictures and statues and things, but just the memories. It's very, very difficult.
You're acting hard in the rebuild process. Not just come in and say, "This is what we're going to do for you," but what is it that you would like to see us do? And how do you want your community restructured and rebuilt? And get their input. Because I've learned that people want to feel that they have some say-so. And this is the only control that they have. They didn't have control over this, but they need to have control over the rebuild process. And that's what we're going to bring to the table.
And you're psychiatrists and psychologists to get the people back, because obviously the shock of someone sitting traumatized and cut and bloodied. Yeah. Right. So we want to get the people counseled, and when you counsel, you